started it.
Yes.
Hi, welcome İrem.
Hello.
I would like to ask you about your career, and I'm interviewing people who took unconventional career paths, and you have a unique one. Can we talk about your educational background a little bit?
Of course. Do you want the long version or short version?
Whatever you like.
Okay.
I know you've been in the industry for a while, in the art.
Yes, it's been a while. Time flies, but when you look back, especially when you talk about your past, like the path that you walk through, then you realize it's been a while now. And yeah, my first, like education-wise, I studied my bachelor's in history in Istanbul at Boğaziçi University, and back then it was quite a wide field, and bachelor's is a time that you choose like how you want to go on, like which path you want to choose. And back then, for the first time, I discovered my passion for art through art history. And then I realized that I want to like put art in the center of my career life, because one way or another we're gonna work, and working is not easy and not something you enjoy. But at least for something that you enjoy experiencing, and for me that was art. And after that, I had my. Sorry.
I want to ask, did you take art history courses in the when you were studying history?
Yeah, so like I kind of chose my.
How did you discover? What I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, like at first with a couple of art history lessons, I realized that I have interest in this, and the more I realized I have interest, the more I started choosing my electives accordingly. So, for instance, back then it was quite ambitious, but I thought that it was, a slim, move to do, like clever move to do. And that was, for instance, we had to learn ancient languages as part of history bachelor's, because we should be able to read like archives. And back then, Ottoman Turkish, for instance, compulsory. And everybody took that, but because I realized that I had like interest in European art, after a while I switched to taking Latin. And in order to be able to graduate, you have to fulfill at least 4 semesters in that language.
Okay.
So what I mean by ambitious, first I took 2 semesters of Ottoman language, and I could have finished it, but I decided to take Latin and started all over again. On top of it, took 4 semesters. And it was quite a hard language to learn. And right now, I don't remember any of it.
But somewhere it's inside.
Yeah, back then, I really wanted to be able to understand the paintings, like fresques, or like, art that is mainly related to church, or like, religious subjects, or anything that is, about European art. So, for instance, that's also like was part of my interest in art history. Not necessarily only art history lessons, but also the things that it can support it. So that's how I realized that I was going towards that path. And after I graduated, I had my first work/internship experience at the Museum of Innocence by Orhan Pamuk. It's in Istanbul.
Nice museum.
It is very interesting concept, and it was the first year that it was open. So like it was quite an experience. I met really lovely people, amazing, very famous people, thanks to network of Orhan Pamuk. Even Umberto Eco came to the museum to visit, and I was like really starstruck. And then I realized that how I want to channel my love for art and art history, and that is like more in the context of museums and institutions, hands-on experience.
Yeah. Maybe it's a good time to ask about what you are doing right now. Like you go to museums and give tours to people, or how do you describe it, what you are doing at the moment?
Well, it's not easy to describe it with one word, but I define myself as a curator and also a community builder. because I started this initiative called Ben Sanattan Anlamam ki. In Turkish it means but I don't understand art, because that's the reaction I got from my friends, from everybody for so many years, and I thought that I would play with it. Anyway, what I do is like as a freelancer, curate specific art tours in different museums and exhibitions, and I try to choose subjects, art movements, or artists that seems, you know, hard to understand by general public, or distant or elitist, like for instance abstract art or performance art. These kind of more you know, niche art movements that people have, you know, sometimes struggle to understand. And I choose, you know, these kind of topics and curate art tours to make them feel, you know, to make it easier for them to connect and understand those kind of arts.
You recently celebrated the first year of your
Yeah.
community. How did you feel on that day?
Well, I always define it like I felt it like I was on my wedding day. Like all the stages of preparation and steps and feelings of it really felt like it was my wedding day, because it was very special for me to see everyone from the community of, in short we say BSAK, Ben Sanattan Anlamam ki, the community of it, all together and seeing everyone connecting with each other. You were also there. I was really happy to meet you there as well, to see you, and you know, meeting with other people.
Very unique people I met, and I thought, okay, this is why we are getting together with people, that to meet and enjoy life together. That was
Exactly.
a unique event. Thank
Well,
you.
that's great to hear, because then it means to me like then it is like, you know, I'm on the right path. I kind of achieved what I wanted from that event. So what were we talking about?
Your education background
Yeah.
and the museums, and then
Okay.
I know
And,
there are many steps along the way. I wanted to just mention the community.
Just let me know which
Thank
one
you.
to which one to answer. So like, yeah, like what we do is like creating a community of art lovers, makers, professionals in the field, and bring them together through arts and culture, and to kind of try to break down that, you know, very distant, elitist, you know, image of art,
Yeah.
and then help people to connect and, you know, collaborate and feel safe in this community space for creativity and
Enjoy art.
enjoy art.
I
yeah.
really don't like people act like it's so fragile to talk about art, and it's something that should be communicative on this. Like when you say elitist and stuff, and it really resonates with me. I should be able to fearlessly talk about it.
Yeah, I think so too. That's what I mean. Totally. Like that's my goal for doing this, because I think that's also kind of the problem of the sector, and not to me art. And what we do in this art sector is mainly for humanity, because I find a lot of sources of healing, a lot of answers or possibilities about, you know, existing in this world. Whenever I struggle about the world and everything, I look at art and I find a lot of answers.
How do you
And-
feel? Excuse me.
Yeah, sure.
How do you feel like the world is not a great place at the moment, and what do you feel about like when these are all happening and going to arts? Like maybe some people have questions about how to make it exist in the world at the same time. How do you feel about going to museums and art in such a time?
Well, I think it is more than necessary, and I think it is being recognized that it is more than necessary, because maybe like you've seen on news or in sometimes on social media, in, you know, very developed countries like Switzerland, they, you know, prescribe museum visits for mental health, for instance. GPs prescribe it because it really helps you to understand that, for instance, you're not alone in some feelings. Or in some, there's no way of doing art or experiencing art. There are different ways of it. So I would really like try to avoid categorizing things like that. because sometimes it helps you to feel lighter. You feel like uplifted by the beauty of the art you see, but sometimes it is very ugly and it makes you think out of the box by disturbing you. That's also a way of, art, trying to get you out of mainstream and
Push
try to
people a little bit to be
exactly
outside of comfort
and
zone.
with a different perspective, understand others' stories, experiences. So in that sense, I find a lot of different but very satisfying and very, in a way, sacred feelings when I experience art. So that's why I find it very crucial
Yeah.
to give more importance for your own healing, for your community's healing, and for your society's healing, to also look for answers, ask some questions within the context of art.
What is the future of your community looks like? Do you have, like, right now it's already amazing and great works happening, but do you plan for the future about your community or other things?
Yeah, like I really imagine my community, becoming something that it is self-sustaining. I'm really like now my main goal is like making it more international for sure, and making it more like a safe space for everybody, and trying to activate the community. What I mean by activating it is that, as I mentioned, like in this community there are so many artists, like there are also like people who want to become artists, and general audience having different questions and would like to experience more alternative things out of mainstream. And there are also like professionals in the art world who wants to kind of understand the audience and visitor experiences.
They're curious, but not.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I want, bringing all these people together in a place that they can reach out to each other immediately, having more intimate relations, not like again having this distance thing, but
not a moderated space that it is so serious.
yes, but I wanted to make people feel like they're all friends and they can have some dialogues, questions, collaborations like they are doing with a friend group,
Yeah.
So let me give you an example.
Please.
What I had in mind, I tried to first also practice it with my first year anniversary. So I tried to give space to friends that I knew for so long that are artists, and bring them together with the people who are curious about different artists and art performances. So it's not like going to a museum with a tour and trying to understand very big names, very successful artists that are already like placed in big institutions, museums. But out of that context, I want people, artists that I know, to take the stage, show their practice, and the general audience, visitors, being curious about it, and then professionals also, asking some questions, and an environment like that. I don't know if it's clear to. Maybe when I do it will be more
I want to
clear.
know where is it? when it will be, where it will be. I want to be there.
You were there. Like I think we tried the first step of it with the first year celebration, and. For instance, like next time I want to, curate like art-themed dinners where I can collaborate with other, storytelling artists, artist friends who also do like work in as a chef. It's also a very like hype thing to combine art and culinary
It's unique.
skills. It's very unique. And then make art-themed dinners where we can sit all together, and when artists, like professionals and audience, can have conversations and talk about what they're curious about. And then I want to plan travels to other countries where we can discover art and network there. like these kind of things. But it is something that it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
It has to happen organically. Building up a community is all about human connection, making connections one by one. And also maybe like plan or organize something with you focusing on AI art.
Yay.
And then including people who are interested in it, but also
They are here.
yes.
But I want
You're
to ask
welcome.
how do they can find you?
Right now, mainly you can find me on Instagram. And maybe we can put a
Yes,
link
around
to
this
it.
around this video there is a link.
Yeah, because you can find me by Ben Sanattan Anlamam ki. I know it's a Turkish name.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. That is something that I'm working on.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I have such emotional connection to the name that I cannot let
Yeah.
it go.
I like B-Cycle also is something more international now.
More international. I'm working on it,
Yeah, okay.
but you can maybe like find below this video as
Yeah.
a link, and then that's my first point of contact.
I see. I want to. So this is an interview around Bubbles interviews, and I have a surprise for you. So
That are.
you get your favorite color, and we make bubbles to end the video.
Oh my god! I really like bubbles.
Yay.
Thank you. And
So we make bubbles and say goodbye to people.
okay, thank you so much. Thank
you.
you. So this is also what I mean by community activation. Like we found each other through the tours and art and our mutual interest. And here I am now, like being a guest to your.
Yeah, and to record this was not planned before a week ago. It was just happened today.
Today. So I love
Good parts of being Turkish.
Then okay,
Yeah,
let's
good.
do it. I really like this. First I need to open it.
Yeah. I have last question maybe.
Yes.
So if there is a person who wants to start a community, what would you suggest to them?
That's a very good question, and to be honest, I never thought about it thoroughly. But the first thing that comes to my mind, really, like immediately, is it really depends on the nature of the main product or the main thing that connects you as a community. Like in our case, it's art. For some other communities, it's music. For some others, it's a sport, whatever. Whatever is at the core of it, I would suggest to stay passionate and authentic
Yeah.
to what really the core is.
Ah.
And then I think by organically, people who are passionate about it, like the wind does the job for us, will just, naturally you find each other.
It's in serendipitous things.
Sorry?
It's in the serendipity.
Yeah, that's the only thing is that you need to really
Be
keep
in the
doing,
flow, yeah.
be in the flow, is keep passionate about what you do.
Oh, I remembered one last question. Okay, the question is, when you were a child, when people ask you what did you want to become when you grow up, what was your answer? It's good that we didn't close the video. This is an important one.
Yeah, well, very, very different. Pharmacist.
Okay.
I never had art in mind until I started my bachelor's. So when I was a child, we had my mom had a very close friend who was a pharmacist. I would go to the pharmacy and pack the boxes.
The cut around it.
And then give it to the customers, and it felt like it was a really
arty.
enjoyable thing. And then art became much later in my life as a passion. So it's not always a story of I knew it always when I was a child.
Yeah.
You can also
you realize along the way.
along the way. So it's never too late. I
Yay.
guess.
Yeah, you can do it.
You all can do it. Yeah.
Bye bye. See you. Tot ziens.
Thank you.
Doei.
Tot ziens.